Hi everyone. Hola, hola. Okay, I'm talking kind of quiet because it's, I don't know, 2:30 in the morning and I have to get this video made so I can post it tomorrow morning. I ran out of pre-done videos and I've been busy with the grand dude. So I've been seeing online a lot of people are doing folios to tuck little journals into. So I just watched a great one. ARTYmaze, Andrea Allen, did one yesterday. I will link it below. But if you're not subscribed to her channel, subscribe. That lady is uber talented. She's really funny. She's got a beautiful English accent, so you can just listen to her all day. Anyway, check her out because she does some really creative things. So this is my take on her thing that she made. So what I do a lot of these traveler's notebooks. I bought a bunch of these at Michael's on clearance. These are Jane Davenport. These are from the Jane Davenport line, but they come in a 3-pack. So you get a calendar-y one, you get this dotted paper, you get graph paper, and you get lined paper, and you get plain. So they were on clearance, so I just bought a bunch of them up, and they're traveler's notebook size. So what I do is I pull them apart, and then I mix in other papers with these papers all together, and then I just cover the covers. You can see I've picked the cover off of this one and used it already. But I use this as my guide. Now, Andrea has all kinds of measurements that she's done. If you want exact measurements and things, I watched her video and then I did my own thing. I didn't measure anything because I eyeballed it with this. I wanted this book to fit inside of this. So I kind of used the same techniques that she used, but I did things different. So if you want to know exact measurements, she does it with a manila file folder. And I'm using a, Pendaflex file. It's a little thicker than file folder, and it's got the pre-scored lines already. So let me go through kind of what I did. So I have this scoreboard, and I scored some spaces. So what I did was first I put this on here, measured where the edge of it was, put it on the scoreboard, and then scored it. And then went over one score line, one notch, and did another one. So I have like a little space between there, which will allow for the bulk of the book. But it's not going to go there, actually. Then in the middle, so you're going to leave your file folder big at first, okay? Disregard this. Pay no attention to this. We're going to talk about this later. So then putting the book here, folding this way one more time, right? Because I wanted to allow some, in case I want to put a second one in there. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. The book is actually going to go here. So this spine I did, which is thicker. This is like 1/4 of an inch. The other ones are 1/8 of an inch. For that one, and so these are already pre-scored bottoms, so I just found, the edge one, and then I went over one and scored that one. Now the reason why I folded them down is because I'm going to cover this whole thing with wrapping paper. So we're going to cover one side with wrapping paper, fold those score lines so we don't lose them, and then we'll do the other side and score it again so that we can know what we're doing here. So then on the last one, you have this flap that the steel thing goes in. I just toss those out because I don't need them, but I ended up, it was taking up too much bulk in the back of the book. So I just cut it off, and then again, put the book on there, folded it over, and now if I wanted to put it in a pocket, I could. The whole thing fits. Okay? So, again, watch her video. She'll give you specific measurements, but if you want to do it, I'm not a measuring girl. I try, but I screw it up. So I'm much better at just eyeballing the whole thing. But I know there are people that really want specific measurements. So You know, like I said, that's what I did. I had the book, so you may want to have your notebook already made that you want to fit inside of yours, and then use that as your guide for your fold lines. So then what I did was I came up where I went 1/4 of an inch on each side of where the spine is going to be, and then I cut away that flap there. I let this one, this was actually a little longer. I cut a little bit of it off, and then this one here, I'm going to do a different technique with, like Andrea did, which is a little flap with a little circle with some string that you can tie onto something. So I cut that one off quite a bit, and then just eyeballed it, just mitered the corners in. Okay, so that's our base for the folio. Now I'm going to cover the back side with my gift wrap, and we'll be back. I'm not going to make you watch me do that because it's pretty basic. Just glue stick and stick the gift wrap down, and then I'll come back and show you how it looks, and then we'll fold everything, we'll flip it over, we'll do the other side, and then we'll get to decorating. Okay. So I have this beautiful gift wrap. It's like a brocade, a silver brocade that I've been hoarding. I have wrapped gifts with it over the last several years, and I always make my kids unwrap it carefully and leave it flat and don't crumple it up. So, and I re-roll it back on the roll really carefully. Some of it bit the dust. Some of it, we've had other people at Christmas that don't throw the gift wrap in bows roll away, and just bunched it up and threw it in there. And all my kids went, oh, because they know. Because I'm always, don't throw the bows away. Don't throw the paper away. Save the paper. So now I'm going to do the other side. I have another pretty paper, but it's just plain. It looks actually like, look at this. It looks like silver leather. So I'm going to put that on the inside. And, you know, this is obviously for a holiday folio. So I think it's going to be really pretty. Okay, one thing that Andrea did, she has a flap page that comes up and it has some envelopes underneath. She had 2 perfectly made envelopes, but I don't. So I'm going to have to make my own envelopes to go with it. And I'm going to have to cut them down a little bit. So what I did was I just took a regular envelope, you can see, and I started to fiddle with it, but I have to cut it down on both sides and do some recreating. So I just need to take a little bit off of the middle and then readjust the flaps so that it'll fit underneath the flap, the envelope flap that we're making. I know it seems complicated, but just hang in there because it'll all work out. If I had some little square envelopes in my stash that I could use, it would be amazing. But I don't. So much junk on my desk. So my plan was to have this whole project done and ready yesterday and posted. But we got some kind of bad news. My son tested positive for COVID. And so yesterday was about, you know, helping him. He doesn't live with us. He lives on his own. But he's literally on his own. So I, you know, being mom, went and made him a whole bunch of different soups. I made like a chicken soup base, and then cooked up a whole bunch of different types of, you know, I made like a Thai coconut chicken soup because he can't have dairy, but I used coconut milk, and with shrimp. And then I made a Thai coconut chicken vegetable soup, like a curry, coconut curry. And then I made some chicken vegetable soup. And then today, with the rest of it, I'm gonna make some chicken noodle soup. I had minestrone in the freezer, and I had beef stew in the freezer, and I had some chili in the freezer, so I took him all of those. And then I'll, you know, make him some more. Just every few days, take him some more food, because he can't leave to go do shopping or anything. So my day was filled with that, and Sorry guys, but my kid was a little bit more of a priority than doing all this stuff. So I freaking hate this year, man. This son is asthmatic, and he's, you know, in one of those compromised groups because of his asthma. So they are monitoring him. He seems to be doing okay so far. Let me just show you really quick. So what I did was I cut the envelope in half, right? I trimmed it down because it's got to fit on this envelope here once it's all flapped out. So I need 2 little envelopes here. So when you cut it, you've got the center part of the envelope, which is cut in a dip, right? That you need to cover the envelope. So I deconstructed this one. I traced this flap here, like that. I'm going to cut it out and glue it to this side. We'll leave the bottom piece on there because it's all going to get covered up with some patterned paper anyway. So find the center, right? And then use the good edge to trim. Let me just do it instead of explaining it. So you find the center of your envelope, right? The one that you're making out of another envelope. And you just use this as your guide to make your mini envelope. There you go. Okay, so now I just need to cut this out, glue it on this side so that it comes down like this in a V, and then the flap covers it, right? And then this piece I'll just leave here, but like I said, I'm gonna eventually cover that over with something because it's too Frankensteined up to look nice. But so what I'll do is put the other flap on. Gonna make it easy on myself here. So I'll put that other flap on that I'm going to cut out. I'll show you with one like this, right? And then I'll probably trim this down a little bit because it's just gotta fold up just for these to attach to. Then I will cover this whole piece outside with some of the pretty pretty gift wrap, right? Then I'll reconstruct the envelope, and then it'll be ready to put on my little flippy flap thing. So I'm gonna put it on pause. I'm gonna do that, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've glued the flap on. Or what you have to make it a little, see that, about a 1/4 of an inch longer so that you can glue it down so it flaps over. And then it was too long, so I just trimmed the tip off. And then you have this bottom flap, right? But you need to make it work a little better. So you have to fold it. So this is what I'm trying to do now, is fold it so that it looks aesthetically better. Is that a... I'm preoccupied, guys. Sorry. I'm really worried about my son. You know, as anybody would be if their kid had COVID. And I can't go there. I can't be with them. You know, I can't do my mom thing with him. So it's very worrying. So if you're a praying kind of person, some prayers would be greatly appreciated. He's a good kid. And he's going back to school, and he's been, you know, we're taking a full load of classes online, you know, working towards getting a degree in finance, and doing it all on his own, you know, and I admire that. Since I've got to be locked down anyway, I might as well do something, you know, get some education and do some things. So that's what he's been doing, and he hasn't even been going anywhere, so we don't know where he got it unless he picked it up at the grocery store. He says, Mom, literally, that's the only thing I do is go to the grocery store and come home. I'm at home all the time because I'm, you know, with school, and school just went on Christmas break. So he goes, I don't know where I could have picked it up. So Okay, back to the flap things. So yeah, you guys know me by now. If you've watched a few of my videos, I don't measure squat, or sackwat as my daughter used to say. I just, you know, do it so it looks good. So that's gonna work. See, it's flapped over like this. This one actually comes a little longer, looks a little nicer. But again, it's not really gonna matter because it's all gonna be, it doesn't matter what this envelope looks like. I'm not even gonna ink it up like Andrea does or gesso it or anything. I'm just gonna cover it with gift wrap because the whole point of this folio is that it's made with Christmas gift wrap. Okay. So I gotta figure out what she, I'm gonna cover these and then I gotta figure out what she, how she glued them down. I think she glued them down, you know, on the underside of the flap, like that, right? Or maybe it was on the top, and underneath she had something else. I don't know, it doesn't matter about the window because that's gonna go away too. Oh, she did it like this, on top. Now I remember, as my little niece says. I remember. So she glues them down like that. And then you've got your little, you know, tuck spots. You can leave the little flaps on the envelopes so that they flap down and put a little, you know, something to secure it if you want to. Or you can just leave them so they flap. Well, they're going to have to close because otherwise the page won't turn in your journal. But, okay. I'm going to go cover everything. I'll be back. All right. So this, basically, I'm going to have to come back to this one because my hole punches are in the house with Kaylee. She's sleeping, and I need to find out where they are when she wakes up. This was a really pretty wrapping paper. This. But Fabri-Tac got on it. And let me tell you, if Fabri-Tac gets on anything, the acetone in it will eat any design away. But I kind of like it. It looks kind of distressed. And there's going to be a notepad that goes on top of it anyway. So it's kind of just the backing for the notepad. Anyway, we'll come back to that section. So this section is a double pocket. So I cut a piece of junk mail, put some flaps on it to make a thing. Now, Andrea doesn't do hers all the way down. She just does it a portion of the way down. But I'm going to do it all the way down because I'm cutting this pocket off in a half. You see, I started it. So here's my challenge, guys. I gotta pull it up high, close to me, so I can see. Ooh, oh wait, maybe just like this. All right. So we have this little rounded edge pocket that you can stick things in, and then this one is going to be a deeper pocket because it has the flap, so it has a little gusset. And you just want to glue it down so that it's even with this edge. Okay? And then you've got a pocket here and a pocket here to tuck things. So I'm going to glue those down, and then we're going to come back and do this last section, which is another envelope that's going to get taped in and flips out like this. Okay? So I went to cover this envelope, and epic fail. So this is going to now become the inside. The Fabri-Tac completely, I don't know if you can see this on camera, completely destroyed. And I didn't even get Fabri-Tac on this, but the fumes from it, I guess, completely destroyed the paper that was the window. So I'm going to have to use some another product that I have. So this is now going to become the front, or the inside of the envelope. And I'm going to put new paper on the outside. And it'll be nice and heavy because it's heavyweight wrapping paper and it's heavyweight with the envelope and everything, it's going to add some nice weight to it. And it's going to get taped in. So that the idea was that you have the side to stick a card in, but I'm going to have to stitch it now because this was how it was supposed to go. It doesn't work. You know what? I'll just get another envelope. I'll do another one. So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to cut the window out. I'm going to glue one sheet of paper down. And I can turn this into a nice tag or something and use this for something else. But I don't want to stick it in the journal. So I'm just running out of these papers. I have to be very sparing with these papers because I'm at the end. These are papers that I've had for several years, and I recycle them and reuse them. And this is the last on the roll of the unused stuff. Okay, so I opened the envelope up. I covered it. I cut out the hole. I put some plastic page protector, or it's those old photo albums that have the screw posts and have like 2 or 3 sleeves, and it's kind of a thick weight plastic. It's really nice. So anyway, I sewed that in, sewed down the 2 sides to sew the pocket shut here, and then I glued this little hinge on. But then when I did the decorative stitching around the edge, it sewed it down to help reinforce it. So now I'm just going to glue this down here, right? So you just want to make sure that you line it up. I know I cut it so that it had a little bit of a border around and it's perfectly, centered. You want to get it over here. Now, I can see right there that that is not straight, but it's straight here. So I'm going to glue it down onto the hinge, or glue the hinge down and kind of wiggle it till I get it, in the proper placement. But this way there's a little space, behind it for some, so if you can put a tag in here, right? And then you add some other things on here. There's a little bit of bulk, and there's space here for the bulk. So I recommend that you watch Andrea's videos. I'm going to link them below. There's 2 of them, part 1, part 2. And a lot of the video is her, showing her process of how she inks everything up and how she distresses everything, which is great because she's got some really good ideas and tips on how to do that. I bypassed all that and just looked at the construction of the folio because I wasn't doing any distressing or inking or stamping or anything. I'm just using gift wrap. Taking the cheater easy way out. Okay. Yep, that works good. So now I'll come back here and I will cover over this. I'll probably tear a strip of one of these 2 papers and just cover over this. And I use Tyvek, a heavyweight Tyvek envelope. I save all the Tyvek envelopes that come to me in the mail because I used to be able to go get them from the FedEx office, but not anymore. So when I get them, I save them because Tyvek is great. It doesn't tear. It works really great as a reinforcement. You can put it in. I put a little bit of it on the spine in here before I, hole punched everything and put all the paper down. Just because the areas that are going to bend and fold a lot, you want to have a little bit of reinforcement. All right. Okay, so now it's time for these envelopes. They go on the back side of this envelope flap. Now, she glued them down and had them, little things that you could tuck inside. I'm probably gonna, there's not much space. I'm gonna try to do some kind of I may do one of those, circle with the string kind of tie down things. But what I'm gonna do that I don't think she did is I'm gonna glue them this way and leave this part open. So there's another little tuck spot back there. Then you have these to put things in. And then you have this envelope to put things in and this. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 little pockets and 1 little flap, which is really kind of cool. So we're just going to use good old Fabri-Tac. Now see, now in hindsight, after doing one, I didn't have to use this good paper on the whole envelope. I just needed to do the side flaps and the top because, and I screwed up. It's typical that you want to do not do the top section, but I put glue down here where I don't want it. Sorry, I'm concentrating a lot today, guys, and not talking too much. So, because of my son's COVID, we're not gathering for Christmas. We're doing a social distance Christmas. All of the kids are staying at home. Because my other son and his fiance were exposed to my son because he was at the hospital. He needed a ride home. He didn't want to call Uber because he was contagious. So, or he didn't know if he was contagious, but they had just tested him. And so anyway, he said he had called my son to pick him up from the hospital. And because he was his roommate drove him over there. And so now my son and his fiance were exposed because they both went together to pick my son up. So now they're quarantining. And we've got the little guy who we're not going to expose him again to anything because poor little guy, he had to go get a test and he was miserable. And, you know, then my daughter gets grief from her ex over it. So we're just going to be safe and have ourselves a merry little Christmas here at home. Just me, Kaylee, and the grand dude. And she has to actually work Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So it'll really just be me and the grand dude. So I'll let my mom know that I was going to go stay with my mom and her husband. And now I'm not gonna because I got grand dude duty. He doesn't really like, I mean, he'll go with family, but like my next door neighbor had babysat him when I was in Florida. And now every time he sees them, he runs away because he thinks they're going to babysit him. So funny. He's like, no. And the only one he'll talk to is the little girl because she comes over and plays with him. Pushes him around in his little, Fred Flintstone pedal power cars. She pushes him all over the yard. So he'll let her. Her name's Alexia, but he calls her Ia because he can't say her name. So Ia can come, but the big sister that babysits or the mom, as he sees them, boom, he goes running. And the other day they were playing in the yard and it was getting late and they had we put some little lights on his little, car, Christmas lights. And he likes to drive it around and we pull him in it at night and we look at all the neighbors' Christmas lights up and down the street. And so he was in his little car with his lights. He didn't want to go in. So they were all, the little girl and the other 2 little girls that live with him were out there playing and pushing him around in his little car and everything. And it was so cute because I decided, I'll just move the car out of the driveway so they can play we have a long driveway. And if my car is not there, there's a long space for them to play and push around in those little carts. So I said, take him over in your yard, honey, so he doesn't come over here behind my car, and I'll just move my car real quick. Well, luckily the dad came out on the porch because he flipped out. He thought I was leaving him, and he came running over. The dad scooped him up and held him while I moved the car. And he's screaming, his arms reached out like this, yeah. It's like, I'm coming back, buddy. I'm just moving the car so you can play. So my daughter's like, I don't like leaving him, even if it's people that he knows and that he likes. If he cries, I don't like leaving him. And he's just starting that. He never really had, stranger danger. And if he's with one of us, like if we're in the store, he's waving hi to everybody. The old people love it because he says that a lot of people don't notice that he's saying hello to them. But the ones that do, it's so cute because they're like, well, hello, how are you? And he's like, hi. Waves to everybody. All right, so that one is done. Oh, I like it. Okay, now this is going to be very sparkly, very blingy, and I know this is very mirror-like on the thing, but when it's all done and everything's tucked in there, and I'm giving it away naked. It's just gonna come like this, and then I will tuck in side here scraps of these papers so you can use them to embellish and you know, add your own flair to it, whatever you want to do. But I'll give you some other pieces of this paper and stuff so you have some stuff to utilize it. But oh, I just love it. I think it's so cute. And you know what I would do now that I think about it? I would put a little tie here and a tie there to hold it, to hold this bit closed. But I guess once you've used it a lot, it'll just stay closed. I don't know. And you could even put a little, you know, glue a little image on there or something. Could be cute. I kind of like the snow, the sparkly snowflake, but yeah, it's coming along. All right. All right, we're gonna make some little, this is the only size punch. I don't have a 3/4 punch. I have a 1/2 inch and an inch. So I need to get myself a 3/4 punch. I think I had one originally. It might have just disappeared somewhere along the line. I know I did a punch purge a while ago and got rid of a bunch of punches, but I tried to save the basic ones that I knew I would use over and over. So it may not have made it through the purge. Trying to use this. I wanted it to look like a little metallic button. Guess I could have just used a button, but then I would have to sew it on, and I don't want to have to do that. And all the buttons have 2 holes, and I need a single hole to do this. Now I have this hole punch. No, that ain't the one. Let me scrounge through my box of tools. Okay, I have this one. It's a teeny tiny little hole. So we're going to punch this. Now probably it would have been easier if I'd have done like Andrea did and punched the hole first and then do it. But it seems to be working. Whatever works for you, whatever tools you've got, whatever, you know, thing floats your boat or makes it all work for you, I guess is good. She has these really cool brads that she uses that look like little Phillips screw heads. And I want to know where she got those because they are stinking cute. All right. So I got to figure out where I'm going to put this. The other day, happened to them. Yeah. They're a little big. They're big heads, but it's okay. We will make it work. And then this one has another one on it. I'm going to reinforce this. This is just too thin for me. I'm going to put some, definitely covering this up. And I'm going to put some card on it. And I'll come back and finish that. But you need 4 of these doohickeys. So I just used the green, you know, Pendaflex file and this cool corrugated paper that I got at the scrapbook store. I don't know if you can see, it's probably pretty merry in the, but anyway, that's what I'm using. That's what I'm doing. I got to cover up this so I can put this bit together. All right, this is coming along. crap on my desk. So much junk. All right, some elastic. I have a packet with a ton of elastic, a whole bag of it somewhere. I don't know, it's disappeared. This is actually thicker cord than you want to use. You really want to use the, see, this is 4.57 millimeters. You want the 2 mil, would be better. But I don't have it, so we're gonna work with this. Just because it's less bulk underneath your little button here. I'm all thumbs with my fingernails these days. So you just make a knot. Secure it under there. You have this come down, you know, about the length of your journal. And you pull it pretty tight. Oop. The cool silver mylar paper is coming off. I'm gonna have to glue that down. Okay, so maybe in hindsight this paper wasn't the best one to use, but I wanted it to look like a shiny silver button. So it is what it is, people. Okay, I think I did that a little too tight. All right, then I made this little notebook out of some onion skin paper that I had. I love onion skin paper. It's really thin. Has a kind of a cool watermark on it. Anyway, it's just a little plain journal. Tuck it right there. And it's too long, so I have to trim it off. It's got to fit between that thing and the bottom. So let's make a mark here. All right, trim it off. My paper trimmer. That's gonna go there. Okay, you've got your 2 tucks here that you can stick, just grabbing stuff here, but you know, stick some tags. This one can hold a big giant tag in here because it can go pretty deep. So let's see. So I will tuck pieces of paper and stuff in here for you guys to, you know, do some, make your own tags and things that match and embellish up however you want. And we got these cool little things. Now there's one more thing that I have to do to this flap, which is another fold over flap that goes here with a string to tie more stuff down. But I may actually just leave it like this. I kind of like it like that. And then you can do whatever you want to this. I want to leave it, you know, I want to do the whole thing up. I want to do it so I'm going to leave this blank. I'm going to leave this blank. That way you can do whatever you want to them. Yeah. So that's going to be it. I'm going to be done. Oh, no. So the last thing is put another piece of elastic. here in the center, and this is where your journal goes. Here's one. It's a little calendar journal. So I'm going to include this one in there. And that way you can cover it, do whatever you want to it. Take the staples out, take the pages out, gesso them up, do whatever you want. Leave it as a calendar if you want. It's kind of cute the way it is. But if the color doesn't go with your motif, you know, that's why I just did silver, because you can add whatever colors you want to it to make it your own thing. There. So there's your little Traveler's Notebook Folio journal. Okay. So cool little flaps. There's a pocket here for there. There's this. There's a couple double pockets there. There's this with the notepad. It's gonna tuck in when I trim it. And then this is blank. So then, check it out. It all kind of sort of goes together. Let's see. That's that journal. It does fold. Trust me on this. It does fold together. There. See? It's just the journal was sticking. So that's why I did the 1/8 of an inch. You could even go 1/4 of an inch space to add. You see all the bulk. Okay. This little notebook in there. Right. And then it'll come with some ribbon tied around it. That's it. That is it. Okay, so thanks for joining me on my 12 days of Christmas. Met some new people, got some new subscribers. I hope you enjoyed the different techniques and things that I was teaching. And like I said, none of these are my original ideas. There's things that were inspired by other people, or just that I've seen online. And this specifically, like I said, by Andrea at ARTYmaze. So I will link up her page, because you want to watch how she does it, because she does a beautiful distressed shabby chic looking one that is just gorgeous. But this one's fun. I like sparkle, I like bling. So yeah, included in this will be a little pack of some lace and some of these papers and some different things to kind of embellish it and make it a little bit more yours. All right, thanks a lot. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for stopping by, and have a great day.